After almost 10 hours of a grueling journey all the way from Kiev, finally we have landed in Lviv, where what you see right now is a clear-cut case of what really happens when a country is ravaged by war. It essentially leads to the kind of displacement that you see right now. While there would be some faces with a smile on their face, primarily because they would come across as people who are relieved to a certain extent. Because where we are right now is in western Ukraine, which has largely been untouched. But the question is for how long perhaps even the western Ukrainian side would remain untouched from the kind of attacks that have taken place across other parts of Ukraine. If you look at perhaps down south, the eastern side, Kharkiv, and while we were traveling, even on our way to Lviv, the kind of reports that came in from the very place that we were broadcasting earlier in Kiev, we've seen large-scale destruction, a TV network that has basically come under attack, and then you finally have a lot of news now coming in how Indian students still finding it very difficult. They're still finding it very difficult to reach home. In fact, right now what you see is a group of Indian students who finally been able to at least reach western Ukraine in Lviv. From here they would perhaps be leaving for the borders of Poland, Hungary as well as Slovakia. But a lot of Indian students still narrating the difficulty that they have faced in terms of reaching here. For instance, if someone is actually in Kiev, how difficult it would have been for them to even reach the railway station. They were not difficult to get a cab. It was difficult for them to get a bus. For them to actually reach the railway station in itself was a huge challenge. That task that many would perhaps keep it aside, saying that they need to reach the borders safely. But here there are students who would be barely in their 20s. For them, they've not seen a war unfolding just before their eyes. How difficult would that situation be? Their parents back home worried about their return. However, the assurances that have been given by the government, well, it certainly is some sort of a relief, but at the same time, the challenges are still a lot. Let me try and get in some of the students, see what they have actually gone through. Let me ask you this question. Somewhere down the line, you may be a little relieved that you're not in Kiev. You are here. But I also want you to tell our viewers the difficulty that you may have faced leaving your residences in Kiev or Kharkiv and coming all the way. Tell us a little bit about the difficulties that you all have faced. What went through your mind while you were in the train, hoping that you reach a safer place?
Of course. So we've been out from 8 o'clock in the morning yesterday. We left our bunkers because we were told by the embassy that we were supposed to leave. And we left. First of all, we had to leave our hostel. The people, the guards, there were military surrounding our hostel who told us very strictly that all of you are not supposed to go because there's a very high risk. People are standing with snipers in our hostel. They told us because they were our friends, so they guided us from the back door and everything. So we got out. We had to get into the metro. The metro that came, we had to wait in the metro station for 1.5 hours. Metro came, got down one metro station before we went to Plosta. Then we had to walk around 2 kilometers for the train station with all of these luggages. We went to the train station as we were told by the embassy, and we were told that there were special evacuation trains. Nothing.
So you all essentially found it very difficult to even spot the train. Which train are you supposed to take?
So there is no evacuation train as given in the advisory. We stood there, we were pushed, we were kicked, everything happened.
So for how many days were you there at the Kiev?
One night, we stood for one night.
And one full night.
We came at 12 noon and whole night we spent there. We booked tickets, can you believe it? We booked tickets so that we have the seats.
Today morning, 5
a.m. And that that train was fake. It was fake and they have taken our money. The train didn't come at all.
We waited for 2 hours.
Then we had a contact in some other university. He came and he told us like there's a only train that you can get in. If you don't get in, this is your last chance.
We are around 60 to 60.
Why don't you also tell your parents, your family members who would be extremely worried? So perhaps one opportunity for you to communicate with them, tell them, of course, the difficulty, I can't take that away from all of you. And we all stand in these difficult times. But at the same time, what is it that you would like to tell your parents now that you've reached to a place which is considered to be slightly safer?
I'd like to tell every parent who's worried about their kids stuck in Lviv, Kiev, everywhere in Ukraine.
Your kids are strong.
Your
They'll
kids
do
are
it.
strong.
They'll reach your home
Get
safely.
over this.
Can I just tell you, at least you all have finally have a smile on your face, and that's important. That's important because
We survived the war. We survived
We did it on our own. No one helped it. No one helped it. We did it on our own.
in fact,
Yes.
you know, the fact here is that with every passing day, a day in any city of Ukraine is becoming extremely difficult, and there's palpable anger, rightfully so, given the fact that many of them were left in a lurch. They did not find a place perhaps to even go back. There were hotels which were not refusing Indian students to come back. They were told that if they leave the hotel, they're not going to be able to come back. So that difficulty still remains. What about the journey from here to the borders? How do you all chart that?
That's our main problem, where we all have a big question mark ahead of ourselves. Will the Indian embassy provide a bus for all the 60 of us?
So you all currently, right now at the Lviv station, you all don't know what to do.
No, we are new to Lviv.
We don't know what
are
we will do
students
now.
from Kiev.
We
Will
have
the embassy provide at least one bus so that all 60 of us, the friends,
Go
we
safely.
are a one family here, can all of us go together safely and cross the Poland border or Hungary border
We
together?
don't know the situation at
We don't
borders.
know
We are like completely blind. It's a blind spot for us right now. What we'll do, we'll sit, we'll eat something. We have been standing for past 10 hours. No Ukrainian stood up and gave us seats. We are standing. We stood 10 hours and traveled from Kiev to Lviv.
We have not eaten.
We haven't eaten.
And since
So in fact, we have a lot of these students. Let me tell our viewers this. While they were all in the same train that we were also traveling in, and I can assure you about this. Someone who's covered multiple conflict zones, it's not easy. We've been standing right next to the washroom here for almost straight 10 hours. With very limited access to any food or water, and that's exactly what they have. They've also actually faced the same thing.
when we have left our hostel, we haven't taken our meals. Actually, we have left since 10 a.m. So since 2 days we haven't eaten proper food. Like we are eating snacks, chips, and that's all.
And then we were at the Kiev Vokzalna railway station for 24 hours. We didn't have any food along with us. A very little bit of snacks that we had. We all shared one packet of aloo bhujia. Can you imagine? Sharing a small
we are drinking,
packet.
Like through the entire
A sip
journey,
of water.
we just drink one sip of water so that our throat
5 degrees Celsius in the snowfall. You can't imagine this.
We are just now hoping that these students who've been extremely brave, let's admit it, that a lot of these students have been extremely brave. They've been very cautious to ensure that they're not caught on the wrong foot. And really hoping that the journey right now from Lviv to the border areas where the ministers have also reached, really hoping that the students get some sort of an assistance. With the reports that we are sending in right now from Lviv to back in the national capital, who would be watching this, really hoping that the students really find their way out. But at the same time, on behalf of everyone who would be watching, we're really wishing that these kids do have a safe journey and they return home as soon as possible. We'll keep sending you more reports. While we would still brave this, Republic Media Network would still be here inside Ukraine, so that till the time every Indian leaves the city of various of the cities, we'll be sending in these reports so that everyone knows what's really happening on the ground. We can assure you, me along with my team, Mridul Sharma and Surendra Singh Rawat, we assure every Indian back home, Republic Media Network will keep sending you each and every report, giving you a sense that while on the one hand Russia has been saying that it's perhaps the borders, the military installations that are being targeted, pictures that we'll be sending you will tell you the truth, that it's not just the military bases, but it's the civilian areas which have now come under attack. With video journalist Surendra Singh Rawat, this is Shravan Sen for Republic Media Network.